Gun Maverick, the sequel to the 1986 hit Top Gun, sees Tom Cruise reprising his most famous role as Pete Maverick Mitchell. This movie was directed by Joseph Kazinski, who directed Tom Cruise in Oblivion, and it stars Jennifer Connolly, Val Kilmer, Miles Teller, Glenn Powell, Monica Barbaro, and Ed Harris. In this movie, we see Maverick called to be put in charge of a group of top graduates to train them for a top secret mission, under the orders of Maverick's former rival turned friend Iceman, played by Val Kilmer. As always guys, before we go any further, I want you to hit that subscribe button so you can follow this channel, hit that alarm bell as well so you can get notifications when my video is going to be uploaded, and give this video a like as well. The first Top Gun for me was a guilty pleasure that reflected the era that it was released in. It was nothing but an 80s joyride, filled with flashy visuals and a brilliant pop soundtrack. Top Gun grossed over $350 million worldwide and made a movie star out of Tom Cruise, who was only 24 at the time. I was skeptical when I learned that a sequel was going to be released 36 years after the original, and I felt that it would be an unnecessary sequel. The track record of sequels being made 2 to 3 decades after the original have been unsuccessful. Independence Day Resurgence and Coming to America. These were unnecessary sequels for me that I felt didn't bring anything new. The main problem I had with Coming to America was the fact that you could not discern the difference between a sequel and a retread. Coming to America was certainly a victim of that, serving up the best parts of the original, but not giving us anything new. And those best parts that were served up weren't as fun as the original. So here we are with Top Gun Maverick, and I'm pleased to say that Top Gun Maverick doesn't suffer that same fate. Top Gun Maverick honours the original, but gives us a new story, and Top Gun Maverick is that rarity where the sequel is superior to the original. I found that the narrative is much more focused and linear, the acting is far superior, and the emotional stakes are higher than its predecessor. This is an incredibly tense movie. From the opening, you would think that it would be a retread, as the opening credits are the same as the first movie. We hear Harold Faltermeyer's iconic theme tune. We hear the brilliant Kenny Loggins' 80s hit Danger Zone. And we see jets on aircraft carriers taking off. And we see our hero Maverick in that legendary bomber jacket of his, riding his Kawasaki bike. But that is where the nostalgia bait ends. Because after that, Top Gun Maverick turns into its own movie, giving us a new narrative. Top Gun Maverick is certainly more than a nostalgia fest. We see Maverick older, teaching new recruits, but at the same time wrestling with his own demons, particularly with a character called Rooster, who has links to the first movie, as he is the son of Goose, and Miles Teller, who plays Rooster, eerily looks like Anthony Edwards. Top Gun Maverick was certainly way better than I expected it to be. This movie has a very intelligent, well thought out story. Whereas the first movie was more style over substance, I would certainly say that Top Gun Maverick is a more emotionally driven story. There are so many nostalgic moments here, but it has some new moments as well, and after that this movie turns into an excellent action movie. Top Gun Maverick is brilliantly written. The story was courtesy of Peter Craig, who gave us The Town, Bad Boys for Life, and The Batman. This movie was co-written by the legendary Christopher McQuarrie, and this marks the 9th collaboration between he and Tom Cruise. This movie was also co-written by Aaron Kruger, who wrote the first 3 Transformers movies, and Eric Warren Singer, who wrote Only the Broke and American Hustle. Top Gun Maverick has an excellent and diverse cast of youngsters who all bring their unique personalities to their roles. And they all have a likability about them. What was so ironic was that most of these new recruits are in their late 20s and early 30s, and none of them were born when the first Top Gun was released. Miles Teller as Rooster, I thought it was excellent. The dynamic between Maverick and Rooster is one of the strongest elements in the movie. It is very tense and very credible, and both actors played their scenes very well. You see Ed Harris having a minor role as a commander, and it was so good because the last time that he and Tom Cruise shared a screen together was in 1993's The Firm.
Just want to manage expectations.
You see Jennifer Connolly as Peggy, who was referenced in the first movie. And I would say that the romance between she and Maverick, I say it was stronger and more emotionally driven than the relationship between Maverick and Kelly McGillis' character in the first movie. Tom Cruise is as charismatic as ever as Maverick, and he brings a strong emotional weight to his character that wasn't seen in the first movie. Tom Cruise as Maverick, he shows the full range of his action ability, and he gives a performance as a character that we have not seen before. A character that on the surface looks confident, but internally is broken and is wrestling with his own demons. And what I loved about the character Maverick, whilst he may have gotten older, he still has a need for speed. Top Gun Maverick at its core is a film about redemption and forgiveness. One of my favourite characters in Top Gun Maverick was Glenn Powell's character Hangman. And Glenn Powell, another excellent actor, who starred in such hits as Expendables 3 and Hidden Figures. Tom Cruise is a very astute actor, and he was adamant that he didn't want to do a remake but a new movie. And I liked how the focus was still on Maverick and how they didn't make him a supporting character and the emphasis was on the new recruits. I love the emotional weight that was brought to Top Gun Maverick, especially when we see Val Kilmer reprise his role as Iceman. And the scene where we see Iceman and Maverick meet, easily one of the most emotional and touching scenes in the whole film. Val Kilmer was diagnosed with throat cancer. He had a tracheotomy, he had chemotherapy, and these treatments had an impact on his voice. It was heartbreaking to see Val Kilmer like that, especially how I remember him from the first movie. And in the movie, Ice communicates with Maverick via text. And when we see these two characters come together, and we see Val Kilmer performed that role with such dignity and class that it almost brings a tear to your eye. And when we hear him speak and tell Maverick to let go of the past, it was such a powerful and emotional scene. And he makes a quick joke about who was the better pilot. And Maverick says, okay, let's not go there and ruin this moment. Absolutely brilliant. This movie has some moments of dry humour that actually work, and I was pleasantly surprised about how humorous this movie was. Visually, Top Gun Maverick is absolutely stunning and doesn't rely that much on visual effects. The effects in this movie are practical. The action scenes in Top Gun Maverick are exhilarating. If you can see this movie on IMAX, I highly recommend it. All the scenes in the air are absolutely phenomenal and surpass the action sequences and dogfighting in the first Top Gun movie. Tom Cruise actually flew his own plane in this movie. All the characters in the movie, when they're in their cockpits, they actually had to have cameras filming their sequences. And we get a real life experience of them in the cockpit. And it is exhilarating to watch. Top Gun Maverick has some of the best practical dogfighting sequences since Dunkirk. You got a brilliant musical score from Hans Zimmer and Harold Faltermeyer. And this is a very tense film as well. And this is produced by legendary film producer Jerry Bruckheimer, and I can certainly say that this is one of his better productions. And one of his strongest to date. It has got a brilliant musical score, a brilliant soundtrack. It has music from its predecessor, but also gives you some new musical compositions as well. Fans of the original will love this nostalgia bait, especially the beach ball sequences. And there is a touching tribute to the late Tony Scott, the director of the first Top Gun movie, who died in 2012. But Top Gun Maverick, it is adrenaline pumping, thoroughly entertaining, emotionally driven, and one of the best films that has been released in 2022 and one of the best sequels ever made. So I'll give this film a very strong 10 out of 10. So guys, that's my review. Thanks for watching as always. Please keep on watching because there'll be more reviews to come. Hit that subscribe button so you can follow this channel. Hit the alarm bell as well so you get notifications when my video is going to be uploaded. Give this video a like as well. Leave your comment with whether you've actually seen Top Gun Maverick. And out of the two, which one is your favourite? Comment down below and I shall see you all on the next film review.